and why it failed. We got it pulled up right now. Here we go. Here we go. So this is why the Game Boy Advance succeeded. However, the Nintendo's gamble paid off. The rivals' clever displays, while visually impressive, criticized their poor battery life and bulky size. The Game Boy, in contrast, offers superior portability and longevity, propelling it to immense popularity. Why was the Game Boy Advance so popular? It explains it right here. The Game Boy's Advance success can be attributed to a large part to its extensive and diverse game library. For the moment, the console was to really add a wide variety of games available to players from classic franchises like Mario, Pokemon, and etc. to new and original titles. Now, why was the Game Boy Advance so popular in the Game Boy Advance was so popular in the 80s for the Game Boy Advance? It was portable. The Game Boy brought portable gaming to the mass market. The term portable was even a thing. We take granted for these days bad superior gaming was available to us on our smartphones in 1989. This was a game changer. So if anybody that used PS Remote Play is the reason why it's the reason why PS Remote Play has been started is because of this reason from Game Boy, as far as remote play is concerned. So yeah, what was Game Boy Advance a success? The Game Boy Advance sold million units, considered less than 118 million units moved by previous models. But its success was far greater. The attach rate for previous Game Boy systems was fairly low, and a lot of million selling hits. The Game Boy Advance was a commercial monster. I knew it was a beast. It was the more popular console of all time. But what was the lifespan of Game Boy Advance? 2001 to 2008, died in 2008. Brazil, 2008, NA, May 15, 2010. That's also 14 years back when I was 16 years old, obviously. But 18, 2008, that's Scorpio season. May 16, 2009, Taurus season. China, 2009, Korea, 2009. ROC, I'm guessing that's defined another European city. 2009, HK, 2009, I guess that's another European city. Indianapolis, 2009. India, 2009. In Europe, October 16, 2009, 2010. And 81 and almost 82 million units as of June 30th, 2010. Media ROM cartridge. Was the oldest version of the Game Boy. The game, this is just showing the reason, obviously, again, obviously. But anyways, same reason, obviously. How much was the Game Boy Advance when it came out? In March 2001, Nintendo revealed that details about the system's North American launch, including the suggested price of $99 and the 15 launch games. Nintendo estimated around 60 new games would be released by the end of 2001. Why was Game Boy Advance the best? The Game Boy Advance has more been proven worthy of being an iconic piece of gaming history. Now, we did accommodate many gamers with a diverse library of high-quality titles, but it kept the other 32-bit gaming alive past its retirement of its generation. What replaced Game Boy Advance? Game Boy Advance was replaced by the Game Boy Advance SP in 2003. The new models were charged with an ion buttons and a built-in screen. Wow. 9 years old, 21 years ago. But yeah, 9 years old, 21 years ago. But anyways. Now, why did Game Boy fail? It's probably one of the reasons. They'll probably explain it. The game failed. It's the same reason, obviously. Same reason, I think. Quote me on that. But anyways, what's the SP and Game Boy Advance mean? SP stand for special and it's the Pentry console, the Game Boy Advance product line before the Game Boy Micro, which was released in September 2005. Game Boy Advance SP, a cobalt blue front lip version of the Game Boy Advance SP, as you can see right there. It was the last game on Game Boy Advance. That's a good question too. The final mice game released for Game Boy Advance with North America was Samurai Deeper Koyo. That's probably one of the few games that started all these Samurai games on Sony and Microsoft and other consoles as well. Samurai Deeper Kuyo, which released as a bundle of DVD set on February 12, 2008 Aquarius season. Well, being an air baby, but anyways. Did the Game Boy Advance use advanced AA batteries? The internal design of the Game Boy Advance is quite a puzzle program that runs on two AA batteries. This console only carries Nintendo's signature GPU. When the Game Boy Advance stopped. Yeah. Production of the Game Boy Advance, along with its revision, ceased production in December of 2009, 2010. Then shipping ended on May 15, 2010 tourist season, and in the 21-year Game Boy line, which Game Boy Advance powered as Super Nintendo. The Game Boy Advance is generally considered more powerful than Super Nintendo system. Super Nintendo NES, the initials. Key difference of processor speed. The GBA has 16 MHz, 32-bit ARM TDMI processor, while the NES has a 3.58 16-bit 65C16 processor. How many Game Boy Advance games are there? That's a good question too as well. Over 1,539 Game Boy Advance games, the Game Boy Advance project, every game, US, Europe, Japan, YouTube, etc., etc. Okay. Did the GBA have a CPU? Game Boy Advance have a CPU. Game Boy Advance is a handheld console, was represented Nintendo in 2001. It has a 32-bit ARM 7TDMI running at 16.78 megahertz, a custom GPU that runs TD graphics, scale and rotation, and a 32 gigabyte internal RAM and 96 gigabytes of VRAM. It's Game Boy Advance 16-bit. Chat begins with a brief history of the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. It is a sophisticated handheld video machine containing 32-bit microprocessor, 16-bit graphic capabilities, stereo digital sound, small enough to fit in pocket. It's the highest sale video game system in history. I'm not surprised because it was a handheld and the handhelds were more popular then. Okay. Let's see. Okay, guys. I think I showed you why it succeeded. More than enough reason why it succeeded. Now I'm going to show you why it failed. Here we go, here we go. Okay. All right. Why did the Game Boy Advance fail? Trying to find the reasons, obviously. Trying to find the reasons. Trying to find a reason why Game Boy Advance failed. Now, why did the Game Boy Advance fail and the Game Boy fail? It's the same reason, obviously. And the price made it go off the market, as you can see, obviously. And why did it discontinue? Just showing you the units sold, almost 82 million sold. It discontinued in 2008. Why did Nintendo make it stop making Game Boys? The Game Boy was the most dominant handheld console. Counting the Game Boy Advance for almost 2 decades, selling millions. But the console died acquired death in 2008 as the company shifted the focus on Nintendo DS. At the time, they seemed to be remembered the market for a Game Boy. It was the rarest Game Boy game. I already showed you this in the first video before I got in the shower, pretty much. And what was the last Game Boy Advance game, obviously. Just showing you this again. Just showing you again if anybody didn't see it, obviously. That was the final game, Samurai Deeper Kuyo. Alright, guys. Now I can show you. Give me a second. Okay, guys. Just trying to see show you the why did the Super Nintendo succeeded, the NES succeeded. I'll show you that in this video as well. So it'll be done in one setting. NES console. Why was the NES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System so successful? The NES, one of the most successful consoles in history. The console contributed to the relaunch of the video game industry. Indeed, the console became very popular thanks to the design and ease of use. What made the Nintendo Entertainment System be very popular? At the 1985 showing at the Consumer Electronics Show with a limited release, the NES store in America in February 1986 with titles such as Duck Hunt, Hogan's Alley, most famously Super Mario Brothers. They also sold Super Nintendos too on eBay for a reasonable price, depending on the vendor pretty much. Now, why was the NES special? It helped revitalize the American industry following the video game crash of 1983, pioneered a now standard business model as third-party developers to produce and distribute games. And Nintendo Entertainment System features several groundbreaking games, including Super Mario Brothers. The NES saved the gaming industry. In the 1980s, the video game industry almost put the final nail in its own coffin. If it wasn't for Nintendo coming out with an innovative solution, the gaming industry wouldn't know. Burnt, honestly. The gaming industry, as we know it, would not survive the original video game crash of 1983. What was the impact of the Nintendo Entertainment System? The Nintendo Entertainment System had lasting impact on the video game industry. It has introduced many of the concepts, innovations now standard in gaming. The NES also helped to establish Nintendo as a major player in the video game industry. Its position it still holds today. Count Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 as of today. Yep. How long was Nintendo Entertainment System lifespan? The platform was succeeded by Super Famicom in 1990 and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1981, but its support and production continued until 1995 and years later. But yeah. How much Nintendo Entertainment System cost in 1985? $150 back in 1985. Came complete with Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, light gun accessory for Duck Hunt, and action controller. But the current price for the NES, that depends on the vendor. On the eBay or Amazon, that depends on the vendor and which vendor you're getting it from. Why are Nintendo Entertainment System important? National employee standards and the other part is NES are part of safety net for the employees of the National Work Relations System. The national minimum wage is the other part of the safety net. These standards set the minimum terms, conditions of employment. They set are in the part two to the Fair Work Act 2009, 2010. What is a fun fact about the Nintendo Entertainment System? NES lasted for 20 years. It holds the title for the longest title that console has been supported. The fact that it extended travel time in many years is an impressive fact. July 22nd, 2024. What is the point of NES? Obviously, the national point standard or minimum employment entitlement that had to be provided to all employees in the National Workplace Relations System. Why is NES so popular? Because the NES was first good game system with massive appeal beyond the gimmick factor and had the first game people line up to buy. December 6, 2016. Why would Nintendo Entertainment System games short? Early NES games were model ported after arcades, which devised you to put in a quarter, play a handful of minutes, and put in a quarter to continue. Why was the NES so big, obviously, console-wise? So Nintendo decided to create a unit that felt like more of a VCR, which was popular at the time. They designed the unit to be boxier, and most famously, it used to be a front-loading system for inserted game cartridges, much like VCRs did with tapes, as you can see the picture right here. And the picture of the game cartridge right here, as you can see, obviously. How did NES change the world? The early choice that created a licensed ecosystem for third-party games ensured that it was allowed for Nintendo to all met for a certain quality standard. They also had to enable exclusive game releases, allowed you to say your product with the game, and had the first organized game of mascot like Super Mario. What was the success of the Nintendo Entertainment System? The NES would go reunite in customer service in the console market proved to be a successful Nintendo with over 60 million unit consoles and so across around its lifetime. Strong sales will continue after the next generation 16-bit console have debuted February 26, 2021. How did okay. What was the hardest NES game ever made? A lot of them. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, that was hard on Microsoft when I played that, obviously. Because Shredder gave me some fits, obviously. Ghosts and Goblins, Battletoads, Silver Surfer, Mega Man 5, Punch Out, Bart versus, if you know about The Simpsons, obviously. And Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, been about to find that. Okay. How much RAM did the original NES have? This is how long it lasted, the lifespan. 2K work RAM, 2K video RAM, both can be spent about 256 spike RAM, 2 game package or Zapper, best-selling game Super Mario Bros. When the NES stopped making games, that's where it gets tricky too, guys, as well. The last official NES game was Wario's Woods in 1994. I was 6 months old, so was Diamante as well. The NES games were written in the NSE impressive library were written about 6,502 assembly languages. Compared to assembly languages for the modern processor, 6,502 assemblies are relatively simple, fit to be possible instructions, one accumulator, 2 index register, and 256 byte stack. How many NES systems are out there? National point standard or set of Magnificent 11, the minimum entitlement, which must be provided national all workplace system employees in Australia. Okay, guys. Why Nintendo continue NES and Nintendo America CEO Reggie Fils-Aimé stated that we just didn't anticipate how credible the response would be, having considered sales of other similar retro consoles. They discontinued the unit We got a lot going on right now, and we don't have unlimited resources. Why was the NES revolutionary? Which is a good question too. The NES was revolutionary because the graphics were closer to an arcade experience, and the first prototypes were like Super Mario Brothers. Far better playing, looking, and better designed than anything that you will find on any other popular systems. With NES games possible to beat? Another good question. Silver Surfer, Marvel's Silver Surfer. What is the Japanese version of the NES? Nintendo Entertainment System was called the Famicom Family Computer in Japan. It was released in 1983 and later rebranded as the NES. It was internally released in 1985, October 3rd, 2015. Was the NES popular in Europe? The NES did not achieve the same level of dominance in Europe as it did in North America. It still managed to come out with respectable market share and establish Nintendo as a significant player in the European video game industry. Okay. How many NES consoles were sold for those units? First released 19 Japan 1983 and North America 1985. The Nintendo Entertainment System is the third generation of home video game consoles. Produced by Nintendo as of September 2023, it held 61.91 million across the world, over 33 million in North America. Alright, guys. So there you have it. Why did Super Nintendo or NES succeeded? But the next video I'll show you in part of that video, part 2 of that video, in the first few minutes of that next video that I'll make, pretty much show you why NES failed. In the next video, pretty much, once I show you that part, then I'll show you why the other Nintendo consoles failed and why Nintendo Switch was the best era, in my opinion, pretty much. And also show you why the other consoles were more successful, but Nintendo Switch was the best one. Nintendo Switch 2 was the more successful eras. To show you why the other Nintendo consoles were successful. Alright, guys, I end the video right there. Follow me on TikTok, Lemon Queen 4. Add me on PSN, Explogory 2, Furry Kingdom, Chun-Li Hishi, Muscat Hishi 4, Super Nintendo 64. All find my PSN accounts, Twitch, Lemon Hut, Furry Kingdom, Xbox Sony 1, Rubber Kev Roth, Virtual Hutch, and Yuki Hutch, all find my Twitch accounts. If you like my rants and rants about the console wars, and the sport wasn't me roasting Mr. Francis and me roasting Henny for his cat, on me roasting Chantal Frost and Michael Jordan's too, and Mr. Francis too. Leave a like on the video, obviously, so I give you more content left and right after making the bills for the past few days. But if you like me roasting Mr. Francis, me roasting Henny and Catcom, and me roasting Shannon Sharp, Fox, and Michael Jordan's too, in all sports pretty much, come to my YouTube channels, Rural Hutch 6, Greatest Power 8, and Xbox vs. Sony Forever, nickname under it, Xbox vs. Sony Forever podcast, Rural Hutch 6, Rural Hutch podcast, and also Greatest Power 8, Greatest Power 8, nickname under it as well. Come to my YouTube channel. I'll give you and leave likes on my videos, on my shorts. You can watch all my shorts that I make. I made a lot of shorts on Greatest Power 8 as well. But okay, guys, I'll end the video right there, pretty much. Actually, why the NES failed in the next video, part of it. The next first few minutes of that video, honestly, make sure I showed why the NES failed. I can show you why the other consoles failed as well. Intercede as well. Yeah. This is